The invisibility of homelessness is a paradox. On one hand, folks are not invisible. They're very visible. They live in a public space, and their vulnerability and their need is on display. But on the other hand, in your humanity, you're invisible. People don't see you for the person that you are.
A lot of people, I think, they feel uncomfortable when they walk by a homeless person, whereas they won't even make eye contact.
We lost another client who had lived at the Woodfin, who was hit by a car crossing the street 9:30 on a Sunday night and was hit and passed away. Someone turned the corner and just didn't see him. We were the ones that needed to let the other people in this community know. One of them mentioned to a case manager that he just didn't understand why don't people see us?
I think it's not just being unseen, it's being misunderstood as to what their situation is and how hard it is to get the support that you need to come out of that. Mental health care in our community is basically impossible to get if you don't have insurance. It's very hard for folks experiencing homelessness to get insurance because that typically means they have to get disability, which again is a very complicated, long process. And when you're living outside, just trying to figure out where you're going to sleep and where you're going to eat, going through that process is not your top priority. Your top priority is survival.
So we definitely have grieved losing a fair number of clients towards the end of 2020. We had another long-term client who had suffered with Huntington's disease for many years. We had just recently gotten her moved into a skilled nursing facility because she needed that extra level of support. And then COVID went through that facility and she passed away from COVID.
Shelters who generally are willing to open up their doors for additional folks to come in when it's super cold, which is what we call the Code Purple nights. They're not able to do that right now because it's not safe and because they're worried about spreading the virus.
We need housing for people that are sleeping outside when it's snowing tonight to be able to have a bed to sleep in inside.
Being in Asheville, especially the winters, they're really harsh here. Especially with COVID-19 this year, we're gonna probably have some that freeze to death.
I think the most heartbreaking thing for me is that we don't have enough resources in our community, especially when you work in homeless services. You feel like you're just telling people no over and over and over again. I mean, to qualify for one of our programs, you have to be outside at least a year.
We have recognized through COVID-19 that homelessness is an issue that not just affects those who are experiencing it, but it affects the entire community. And we have finally gotten to a point where people can no longer ignore it. People are starting to communicate that they're seeing increased encampments, that they're concerned about safety, that they're concerned about public safety.
And as a community, it's our responsibility to help these folks be cared for and help these folks have a safe place to go and live. And it's really the foundation of our work is that we believe everyone has the right to housing. And so to do that, we have to have support from the community.
But I do think that the homeless people need someone to be a voice for them.
A-Hope, in my mind, is a sacred space. People reveal their vulnerabilities and their humanity at A-Hope. They're willing to entrust their stories with others.
One project that we are incredibly excited about is our A-Hope renovation, and that is the renovation of our day center, which is really the hub for Homeward Bound in terms of being able to come and access services.
Once every year, we used to have to update every single person who came into A-Hope's paperwork. And in that paperwork, the last thing you would ask them is, who is your emergency contact? And over and over and over again, the clients would respond back to me, just A-Hope staff. If something significant happens to me, that's who I want to know first, is A-Hope.
I would say that the biggest impact that we've been able to make through this virus is being able to partner with the city of Asheville to provide shelter, first at Harris Cherokee Center in downtown Asheville, and then now at the Red Roof Inn, where we are currently housing in their own private rooms about 65 individuals so that they can stay safe and secure.
You know, working with Homeward Bound, this has been a godsend. The Red Roof Inn, it got us off the street.
I met James and Melody about 6 months ago while they were still experiencing homelessness outside before they came here to the Red Roof Inn. I still get calls like on a weekly basis from community partners of like, is there a room open at Red Roof Inn? How do we get someone in there? So there's definitely still a huge need there.
One of the reasons I really love Homeward Bound is we are completely committed to ending homelessness, not just managing it. And that all begins with the concept of housing first.
The housing first model is just as the name implies. Our goal is to get people into housing and then wrap services around them to support them.
I'm stable now. My housing is set. About a year now. This month makes 1 year. The housing came first. I was able to see clearer now, you know, what I'm able to do as a person. I mean, I feel security. I feel it's a sense of security. Like if I'm hungry, I can go back to my apartment. I can eat something and cook my own food. Or say if I have to use a restroom, I don't have to, oh my God, where am I going to go? I'm right down the street.
But as of Tuesday, we signed a lease.
So I know that's really happy. I'm telling you right now, it saved our lives.
We're helping James and Melody get moved into their apartment and into housing. You got it? Yep. A team of case managers and our Welcome Home team showed up to help bring a bed, furniture, kitchen supplies, cleaning supplies, everything they would need to kind of make the apartment a home. Yeah, the furniture donations we get from the community are so meaningful and really just huge for setting people up for success.
Any household goods that someone is replacing and needs to get rid of the old ones, they can bring them by our Welcome Home Donation Center and we can reuse them for someone who's just leaving homelessness and moving into housing.
Sorry, no, it's okay.
It was a blessing. It's been a blessing. This has been awesome. I still sit here and think, is this really our place? This is what I've always needed is support, and for the first time we have a lot of support.
We mention often here at Homeward Bound that homelessness is a community problem and it will take a community to solve it. And I think that's what we're seeing through this pandemic.
I think we live in a very caring and giving community.
One of the primary differences in the work Homeward Bound does is that we are in it for the long haul with our clients. That it could be 6 months or 6 years, but we're going to stick with that person until we know that they're stable in housing.
It helps to know that he's there if I'm having a bad day, or if I need something, or if I don't understand something, he's there. So, I mean, it's just hard. But
thank you for that card. That was really sweet. I really appreciate you saying that and giving that card to me.
I've never had support like this. My family, my mom was not a very loving person at all, and she put me through a lot of stuff.
And I got to say something about being homeless. And my family used to say this about me, and I used to get frustrated. Some of them actually said, David, I think you like that lifestyle. And it was insulting to me. I did feel a little bit invisible in the sense that I knew my situation, what it was. And maybe people could detect it in me, but I knew there was so much more.
We like to say, honestly, that we're working with the folks that nobody else will serve. That they're the folks who are sort of the unseen in our community.
So I hope that moving forward, it isn't that this is an unseen population, that it is a population that we as a community are working towards moving into housing.
While we believe that we've made great strides, especially through this pandemic, where we've got some great projects on the horizon to really address the needs of our individuals experiencing homelessness, there's still a lot more work to be done.